Hello there, I'm Electric Wolf, and today I want to talk to you about testing internal methods. So typically when we're doing unit testing, we can only test public methods, and I want to show you how to test internals as well. Now, anybody who's not familiar with internal methods, let's just have a quick recap. So here I've got a very simple project. It's called Calculator. My class is called Calculator. And I have a method on that, which is process calculation, and then it's a public, and it takes a string and it parses that and it does some processing. But then is what it does, it calls some additional methods, add and subtract, depending on what's within that line it needs to process. But these additional methods are marked as internal. So these methods are only available within this assembly or within this project. So typically it means you won't be able to unit test them because your unit tests live outside of your project. So let's have a quick look at a unit test already. So let's ignore my failing test for now. I've got a unit test that is testing that public method. So it's newing up a calculator. It's calling that with a line that I want processing, and this is just some basic strings that's doing some very basic add and subtraction tests, and that is working fine, and it's working as you would expect. But like I say, when you want to test the add method, if we just have a quick look here, this add method down here, terribly simple test, you shouldn't really need to put a unit test around this, but ignoring the code, this does have a practical use. So this internal isn't available because we're outside the project. We can see that if I just do code dot, and these are the options that we have because this is all what's publicly available. And I don't want to call process calculation because we've already tested that. I want to break it down. So it's what we have to do. We have to go back to the calculation, and we have to add what is called an internals visible attribute. So this is coming off the assembly namespace, if you like, and we want to say internals visible to, and we want to name the other project that they are invisible to. This means we can make these act like public only to this project. So that means for a unit test we gain accessibility to this. But when you release it to the world, nobody else would have access. So it still keeps its internal setting, and it's only that this particular unit test project has access to that. And as you can see from the projects here, this is my code project, the one we're in, and this is my code.unit test project, the one I want to have access. So if we just build this, build a successful, and if we pop back into here, now if I do code dot, you can see we have access to the other ones, the internal methods. So here's our process calculation that we always had, and here is the sub method we have and the add method. So that now means we can do the unit testing for those methods. So this add, as you see, if I F12, is internal. And then just for completeness, let's do the sub method as well. You can see it's all accessible, and if I run the unit test here, we should be able to see them pass. So let's just run it again. It didn't pick them up. There we go, they're all passing as expected. So there we go. You can take your internal methods and make them visible to whatever project you want, and in theory you should be able to do this for many projects. Typically when you're dealing with a C# application, you've got an assembly file. That'll be the place to add that. I don't have one in this case because I'm on the latest frameworks, but if you do have an assembly file, please put it in there. It's the most common place for it. These other assembly framework settings in there as well. So there you go. I hope you enjoyed that, and if you've got any issues about unit testing, let me know. I might be able to help. Enjoy.